I think I'm pretty fair when it comes to talking about Xbox because I'm not one of those like doom and gloom channels. Really, my favorite presentation of 2024 was from Xbox. Seeing games like Perfect Dark during their summer showcase event, I really genuinely enjoyed that presentation. I thought there were a lot of cool games, and I was kind of excited for the future of Xbox. You've made all these big acquisitions. You've bolstered the Xbox brand. Now it's time to make games for your console. Now, of course, there was the whole situation where Phil Spencer lied to you and said that games like Indiana Jones weren't coming to other platforms earlier in 2024. And then, of course, it was revealed that Indiana Jones is coming to PlayStation 5 in early 2025. So that was a big freaking lie. But I feel like I'm fair with Xbox. I just have questions. And, well, after the past 24 hours, I'm at a loss for words here. I'm going to try to make some sense of this because I don't understand this company. And it is time to stop acting like we as consumers understand this company because they are just going completely off the rails. This is a combination of two different things: an interview that Phil Spencer did and then subsequent marketing that just went up this morning on the 14th for Xbox. And it's like, what the hell are you doing? Who is making decisions for this company? So let's talk briefly about the Phil Spencer interview. And you know, not to make jokes or anything like that, but Phil Spencer does not look well. I assume he's on that Ozempic that a lot of like celebrities and stuff are doing, which seems like, you know, something that in 10 years you're going to find out all these horrible side effects of. But he looks very sickly in this interview. And I wanted to make a joke and take a jab at Major Nelson and be like, oh, look, this is what running a business does. But like, I'm genuinely concerned for this man's health. And I hope he's good. Like, all jokes aside, I hope the man is good. But in this interview, there was really two important things that were brought up: an Xbox handheld, which we'll talk about in just a few moments, and the fact that like red tape has been removed for bringing more games to other platforms. And I think, you know, everyone understood that. When you changed your tune on Indiana Jones from spring to fall, how that game wasn't coming, but then it was coming, and it clearly was coming when you stated this back in the springtime, because it's not like this game took like 3 months to port to PlayStation. Obviously, this game had been designed with PlayStation in mind, along with Xbox. You know, I think we all understand that. And, you know, that can be a bit of a detriment, because every time you see a big Xbox game that is revealed, a game like Perfect Dark, a game like Fable, obviously games from Bethesda and stuff like that, you have that thing in the back of your mind that like, well, okay, you know, this is coming to Xbox, but it's probably coming to something else as well. Like, how are you supposed to differentiate if it's a case-by-case basis, but one of your biggest games, arguably your biggest game for 2024, is now coming out early 2025 for the PlayStation? You do have to keep that in mind. You do have to keep that in the back of your mind, and it's something that if you're buying an Xbox console, that's not something you want to have in the back of your mind. Consoles are expensive, people. You know, a $700 PlayStation 5 Pro, a $500 Xbox Series X. These are investments, especially in this economy that we are currently in. And when you're putting an investment into a console, you want this console to do things that the other ones do not do. That's the whole point of having other consoles, exclusive games, the reason to get into this company's ecosystem. But the second part, the handheld part, because Xbox is making a handheld as well. But there's a problem with that. There's a massive problem with that, because today they introduced their new marketing campaign. This is an Xbox. And guess what? There's a lot of things that are Xboxes that aren't an Xbox. Your cell phone is an Xbox. Your computer is an Xbox. Your tablet is an Xbox. Your VR headset is an Xbox. Now, I did see some people saying that this was somewhat clever marketing, and I completely disagree. I completely disagree, because Xbox's biggest problem is their marketing. They are terrible at marketing. They give mixed signals all the time. It seems like there is no direction in their marketing department to see what the focus of the company is on. And obviously that comes from the higher ups with this company as well, as far as what the future is, what they plan on doing, what they want to promote. Do you sell systems? Do you sell Game Pass? Do you sell games on other platforms? Like, I don't, it's just so all over the place. But if everything is an Xbox, why would you make a handheld? Because by that logic, I already have a handheld Xbox. It's my phone. It's my Logitech G Cloud that was marketed with things like, oh, it's great for Game Pass. It's my Steam Deck. It's my ROG Ally. I have a lot of these freaking devices. But that is my Xbox handheld because it's not going to be native unless you're just doing it all digitally. How are you going to pop a Blu-ray disc into a handheld device? And they say that it's a few years off that you're working on prototypes for this. Are you still going to be making video game hardware in a few years? Because if you're wanting to put all of your games onto other platforms, like, what's the point of buying an actual console? If everything is an Xbox, what's the point of buying an Xbox? Like, I'm serious here. Why would I buy Xbox hardware if I could play the games on other platforms? If I could play the games on my phone? If I could play the games anywhere? It's a good idea in theory, but it doesn't necessarily help people drive you to console sales. And if you don't care about the Xbox console anymore, just go full third party. Like, you're giving people so many mixed messages with this thing, and I get it. It all stems from the fact that for whatever reason, somebody along the way instilled into Xbox's mind that great games do not sell platforms. Even though the reason why people buy a PlayStation is to play first-party PlayStation games. And yes, some of those games do come to PC. Sometimes it's as quick as a year later. And guess what? Look at those PC game sales, people. They're not hitting like they used to. PC game sales for PlayStation Studio games are down. Now, you could say that that's indicative of the quality of the games, or you could say that that's indicative of the fact that people are buying a PlayStation 5 to play these games, and many of them are not waiting for the games to come to PC. And maybe they'll double dip. Maybe there will be some people who are playing something else, but a vast majority of them are just going to play them on the PlayStation 5. Imagine if Nintendo games came to PC. Why do people buy a Nintendo product? Because they want to play Nintendo games. They want to play Mario. They want to play Zelda. They want to play Pokemon. If these games were available on PC, they would look better. They would run better. They would play better. There would be modifications. Nintendo's never going to go down that route. And because of that, the Switch was successful. Because of the games, the PlayStation 5 is successful. You finally have a bunch of games coming out. You finally have a bunch of studios under your umbrella. And it seems like you don't want to play the long game with this. Because the long game is reestablishing the Xbox brand in the console department. People think that video game consoles are going away. They've been saying that for 20 years now. Okay? Yes, maybe in the future everything will change, but it seems like this is a decision for the intermittent and not the future. Because if you positioned yourself as a hot destination to play your games, as a destination where you could get things like Game Pass. Oh, you got to buy the hardware, man. You got to get this. Like, yeah, you could do a little cloud experience on these other devices to supplement it, but this is where it's at. You know, that's the marketing. You can get with this or you can get with that. Remember that song? It's not even the R-Truth version. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? But I say all that to say, like, you could really position yourself with games like Perfect Dark, with games like Elder Scrolls, Doom, and stuff like that. But if you're just putting it on other platforms, like, how do you exist in this gaming sphere? Do you care more about Game Pass than you care about game sales? Do you care more about putting games on all platforms instead of just trying to keep it to the Xbox ecosystem so that way people have to buy an Xbox? And if that's the case, if you do care more about that, why are you still doing hardware? Why are you still acting like you are focused on hardware? It's mixed messaging. And I think people are getting tired of it, man. All your diehard Xbots. Colt Eastwood, Kid Smooth. They're all moving on to greener pastures. You alienated all those people that you invited to all your events that you'd always do. And you'd have breakfast with these people, building parasocial relationships, because the relationships were indeed parasocial. You use them for marketing because obviously you don't know how to do marketing. Marketing for a video game console is simple. You show the console, you show what it can do, you show the games you play on it. You don't say that everything is your console. What is Xbox? What is Xbox? It's insane. This is insane to me. Like, it almost, and I'm not going to say that. I was going to say it almost feels kind of like the end, but maybe it does. Maybe it feels like the end of the traditional Xbox brand. Because I can't imagine, spreading yourself out so thin to all of these different things, all of these different focuses, and being able to maintain all of that. Being able to maintain putting your games on other platforms, being able to maintain that everything is an Xbox, being able to maintain that Game Pass is the big focus of it, even though, subscriptions have pretty much stalled out and you're dishing out money to these companies in order to get their games onto Game Pass, so they don't necessarily care. I don't know. I want Xbox to exist as a competitor. When there is competition, the video game industry thrives. Look at the best eras of the video games. Arguably, the 90s and the 2000s. Multiple console manufacturers. Multiple exclusive games. And yes, the sales weren't crazy like they are now because video games weren't accepted into the mainstream. But the quality of the games, the quality of the experiences, the quality of needing to buy this device to play these games, I feel like it made for a better video game ecosystem. But maybe I'm just an old man yelling at the cloud. I'm sure some people will think that, and if you think that, that's cool, man. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying this is, factual. To me, it's factual, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me know what you think of this in the comments section down below, though. Do you think that everything being Xbox is a good idea? Because if so, why would you buy an Xbox? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, and share. Go buy my book. Link is in the description box down below. And as always, catch you guys on the next video. Later.